The next step in the order cycle is the order ticket print. And this is basically a picking list. It's what items to pull from the warehouse for the orders. The order tickets come out for individual orders by route. And it also does it by bin order sequence, so that the user who's picking the order in the warehouse is going to move through the warehouse in the most efficient manner possible and will not have to backtrack. And it also does it in a reverse delivery sequence. So the first order to be actually picked will be the last order that's going to be delivered. The reason we do it this way is so that when the people are packing the delivery vehicles, the last order of the day will be at the back of the truck and the first order of the day will be at the front of the truck, so that the driver can quickly retrieve the goods and deliver them to the customer. He doesn't have to go through the truck looking for the individual order. It's going to be right there in front of him. The next step in the cycle would be our shipping confirmation. We have a shipping confirmation here by order, and I'll give you an example. If you have a route with perhaps 50 orders on it, but 3 of the individual orders are not going to be shipping out the entire quantities that have been allocated to the orders, perhaps there's been some spoilage of some of the goods and you're not going to be able to ship them out, you could call up these 3 individual orders in this screen here and do your manipulations of those orders in this screen. You just would come down here and you would change your quantity in cases or your quantity in units and to what they should be, and then confirm the order. But for the remaining orders, the other 47 orders on our route, we can use our automatic shipping confirmation screen, which is run by individual routes, and that will take the remaining orders and do an automatic shipping confirmation, so you don't have to go in and do individual shipping confirmations on an order by order basis. So it's a very quick way of getting your orders shipped confirmed. And at this time, this is when the stock actually comes out of allocation. It's no longer allocated, it's actually comes out of your quantity on hand. So the next thing in our menu, we have our load sheet. This is optional. So far we've been talking about individual orders being packed onto the truck order by order, but for some companies you may want to do you may want to pack all the like goods together. So you may have a combination of orders that have 50 boxes of orange juice. What this load sheet will do is it will print all the individual products that have to go on the order and lump them all together and give you the total number of cases and units to load into your truck and the total weight. The total weight is quite handy because you can decide at that point what size of delivery vehicle is necessary in order to deliver the particular route. Next we have our order splitting. This is for the cases where we have orders that we want to split into individual invoices, and this is what we discussed earlier when we're setting up our billing product groups, so that you have your individual order for a grocery store, for example, but you're going to split the invoice into multiple departments. This is the program that will split the order up. Our delivery listing is the next thing. This is optional, but people generally use this to give to the drivers to show them how they have to make their deliveries in what sequence, and it also lists what cash that the driver has to pick up from the customer. So if it's a customer where the driver is going to be receiving cash, it will list here exactly the amount that they should be taking from that individual customer. Next step would be actually the invoice print, and you can run this for individual routes if you wish, and then distribute this to your drivers, and they'll take the invoices with them and distribute them to the customers as they make their deliveries. We have an invoice journal that will print listing all the invoices that were printed for the day, and it's a great method of using to reconcile your orders. At the end of the day, when the drivers come back, we have an order adjustment screen that allows you to take individual orders and make adjustments to them. If the driver comes back with cash or checks, you can enter that onto these particular orders so that no accounts receivable will get created for these particular orders because they have been paid. And it also allows you to enter changes to the quantities and prices on the orders. Sometimes drivers will come back from their deliveries and say the customer didn't want to receive us the quantity that we delivered, or there was a dispute around the price. You can make a change here so that when your invoice is actually updated to your general ledger, your accounts receivable, to your sales, you're going to have the correct amount on the orders, and you're not going to have to go in and create credit notes for these things, which would take a lot of time for the order entry people to have to put a credit in for minor discrepancies in the invoices. You can take care of it all in this screen. We also have a screen here that allows you to enter in all the cash that a driver has received in a lump sum amount, and in checks and cash, and a nice report that allow you to reconcile against that. This is totally non-mandatory. If you want to go ahead and use that, that's up to you, just for reconciliation purposes. I just wanted to just briefly talk about some of the reports that exist in this system. We have an unauthorized special price report that allows you to see where prices have been overwritten by the people entering orders into the system, where the default price has been overwritten. We have some other reports, some back order reports, so you can do your planning as to what items that you have to receive into stock in order to fulfill your orders. We have a forecasting report, a returns analysis report, and then we have our regular standard dynamic 3i reports, where we have a great number of our reports, outstanding order reports by order, customer, products, some gross profit reports, an order turnaround report. So a great selection of reports in the system to make proper management decisions. We have a number of inquiry screens also available by product, customer orders, and one of the most popular by order and sales. This screen allows you to query on a number of criteria: order, invoices, purchase orders, individual products. It'll bring up the orders in here that are still outstanding, or ones that have already been shipped out, and you can take a look at them, and you can drill down into the orders themselves and take a look at all the individual elements of those orders. It's a very popular type of screen. And within the root accounting module, we have an inquiry screen for management to make. It's quite often made by executives in the company when they want to take a look at individual customers, how much was sold for individual periods, the sales and the returns. So you can use this to decide upon what products that you are selling quite well to the customers, and versus ones that are being returned quite often. Final step actually in the process now would be the invoice update program. And at this time here, when you have all your invoices printed and they've been adjusted, you do your invoice update, and then your accounts receivable gets created, your general ledger transactions, and also your sales history gets hits for your sales staff, so that they can run our many detailed sales reports that we have in Dynamic 3i. I also want to mention, as we're closing off this tutorial, that within the inventory module, in the root accounting cycle here system, you're going to be prompted for the number of cases and units within the inventory receipt program, our adjustment program, our interwarehouse transfer, and our physical inventory tag entry. So it's a great way of entering data into the system using both your cases and units. So it's a lot more efficient way of getting information into the system. That concludes the tutorial on root accounting.